News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. The Secret Service has heightened security around the White House, the homes of former presidents, and other protected locations as it continues monitoring the situation in Iran. The agency didn't give details, but says the public may start to notice an increased law enforcement and federal presence near these sites, which means there could be some temporary traffic issues. President Trump is scheduled to head back to the White House today. He spent the weekend at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Iran's president says its new leadership council has begun its work to pick a new leader after the killing of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Jomana Bersetchi covers the Middle East for Bloomberg and gives some insight on who could succeed him.
Many different names are being thrown out there. Unclear at this point who it's going to be. Some of the names include his son, so Mujtaba Khamenei, some of his close aides, Ali Larijani, Sadiq Larijani, and then there's also the possibility of the grandson of the founder of the Islamic Republic, and his name is Ruhollah Khomeini as well. But at this point, we don't really know. So in the interim, this temporary leadership council is going to take over.
Bloomberg's Jomana Bersetchi on Bloomberg's This Weekend. The killing of Iran's supreme leader and other top Iranian officials came after close intelligence sharing between the U.S. and Israel. The New York Times now reports it was the CIA that actually zeroed in on Khamenei's location shortly before attacks started. Former U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper praised the move.
I think it was a risk worth taking. The fact that not only taken out was Khamenei, but also the defense minister, the head of the IRGC, and Israel saying several dozen other senior commanders really could leave the state of Iran, again, very destabilized, no clear chain of command, and chaotic actions. And we may be seeing some of that right now, that they don't yet know how to respond, which is why they are lashing out at several Arab countries through the use of drones, through the use of ballistic missiles.
Former Defense Secretary Mark Esper on Bloomberg's This Weekend. Iran has fired missiles on parts of Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, and Israel for a second day. Bloomberg's Israel Bureau Chief Ethan Bronner is in Tel Aviv now. He says he's been forced to take shelter in a bunker at home at least once an hour since attacks started.
It's designed for this. But I mean, many people in Israel don't have one in their own apartment, and they're forced into public shelters. So it's not fun at all. But I think, on the other hand, people in Israel have been talking for so long about the need to eliminate the Iranian regime, because Iran does say death to Israel. It does fund and arm militias around the region. It really is an enemy in a genuine sense that people, I think, have a tolerance which is going to go on for a while. We'll see for how long.
Bloomberg's Ethan Bronner in Tel Aviv this morning. 9 people were also killed in Pakistan today after storming the gates of the U.S. Consulate. Authorities there have said others were seriously injured when police intervened, so that number could rise. Protesters also hit the streets in major U.S. cities yesterday, including L.A., Chicago, and New York. But demonstrators in Times Square condemned the attacks. Oman says a small oil tanker was targeted off its coast in the Arabian Sea, the first sign of an attack on shipping near the Strait of Hormuz amid the ongoing war in the Middle East. Oman's maritime security posting on X that the tanker was targeted just north of Qasab port, forcing a 20-person crew to evacuate. 4 people were injured there. And it's caused oil traffic now to plummet in the Gulf. We get more on that from Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
Oil shipping has largely paused in the Strait of Hormuz that links the oil-rich Persian Gulf to the open seas after the U.S. and Israel bombed Iran, with Iranian media saying the waterway is practically closed. Ships reported hearing a radio broadcast purporting to come from the Iranian Navy announcing that transit through the waterway was banned. Several tankers that had been heading toward Hormuz have turned around. A large number had already paused to wait near the entrance to the waterway after the bombing started. The disruption is impacting everything from crude oil tankers to container ships that carry furniture. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
The Strait of Hormuz is a major shipping lane for much of the world's crude supply, and economists say oil could soar above $100 a barrel if it shuts down altogether. Oil markets are closed for the weekend, but Brent crude climbed as high as $73 a barrel on Friday. Airlines across the Gulf have also suspended much, if not all, operations at some of the world's busiest airports. Tens of thousands of passengers have been affected so far. Cryptocurrency traders are keeping a close eye on Bitcoin this morning. The token rose as much as 2.2% to just over $68,000 yesterday after Iran confirmed the death of its supreme leader. It's now trading at about $67,000 this morning. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.